stress hormones, which should not be in your body for too long. At least it shouldn't be in high levels for too long. Well, depression causes high levels of osteoporosis to be in your body over a long period of time. And when that happens, it causes damage to things including the immune system, including your brain cells, especially where memory is concerned. And also it causes damage to the bone repairing cells in your body. You don't want to mess with depression. You want to do things that will help to take care of it as quickly as possible. Your words also play a key part in bone health. Actually, your words play a key part in everything. We did a presentation on words as well. Speaking about the skeletal system, you cannot speak about the skeletal system without paying attention to chiropractic. And I had to learn this the hard way. When I had a serious racquetball injury, I had to go to the chiropractors, and they helped to put me back together. So ever since, I've had a tremendous respect for the chiropractic. Now, Dr. Sami and Bruce Goldsmith did a great presentation, visual presentation, showing lots of animated slides, showing just how the spine, and remember the spine and the skull house your nervous system, which is the most important system in your body. Your spine and your skull house the most important system in your body. So if your spine isn't working well, your spine is not structured or not in alignment, it will affect your nervous system adversely. So it's very, very important that you give attention to that as well. And that's why we had them come in. So you can see that is important. The other aspect of skeletal system, of course, are your feet. What are feet other than things to walk with, right? But again, it's amazing what foot problems can do to you. Foot problems can actually affect the spine, this curvature of your spine. If you're not walking properly, if your feet are misaligned, or if there's something wrong with your feet or your shoes or things like that, things will go wrong. And my good friend Mark, the doctor of podiatric medicine, did an excellent presentation. Actually played racquetball with him again today. And I said, Mark, we need you to come back. And he's like, well, how much are you going to pay me? I'm like, nothing.
Tell him you'll let him win.
I'll let him win.
David, it surprised me when we had his presentation. I think it was one of the record number of people asking questions at the end. And I kept thinking, it's feet. Why are there so many questions? But I thought, well, probably because everybody has feet.
And everybody, we don't complain about them, but most of us do have issues with our feet. But it's like, well, what's a foot problem when you've got a heart attack, for instance, or when you've got eye problems, or when you've got teeth problems? So it's like, well, I could deal with the problems in my feet. But when you have someone as smart as this guy, and he's a really smart guy, he was the head of the Diabetic Association in Oklahoma for 9 years in a row, and he explained it in such a way that they were like, oh yeah, that's right, I do have that problem. What do I need to do about it? Right. And so he did a great presentation again.
Well, I hope we get him back.
Well, I tell you what, I'll give you his phone number. He might be more amenable to a lady approaching him than a guy, especially a guy who beats him every time.
Yeah. Well, we'll do what we have to.
Whatever it takes, huh? I have in front of you a few other topics because it's hard to cover everything and just categorize everything. But you see here how the body works. Right up there, number one, homeostasis, how the body keeps itself in balance. And so we did a topic called acid-base balance 1 and 2. We also spoke about stress, from stress to strength 1 and 2, the wisdom of the body, inflammation, the importance of antioxidants, understanding your immune system, balance and coordination. Obviously, that has more to do with chiropractic. How we gain weight, that's the concern that becomes more and more as we grow older. I've always had a six-pack, and I'm getting to become used to see flab now right on my belly, and I'm like,
down to a 4-pack?
Oh, or less. Now it's like just one keg now. And here's an interesting thing. In one of our talks, I think on the gastrointestinal system or the gut, the digestive system, we explained why men have pot bellies and women have fuller hips and thighs. has a lot to do with your endocrine system and your genes. But you're going to have to get that to see the recording to understand how that works. Another aspect we wanted to focus on, and really we're going to be focused on that a lot more next year, is on the cell, specifically genes. Dr. Marvin is going to be back to speak about nutrigenomics, specifically how nutrition affects the genes, the expression and otherwise of genes. Nutrition, as Dr. Sears says, is a drug. You can actually use nutrition as a drug, as a weapon to influence the activity of genes. And I know this picture is someday going to get me in trouble. I asked Laura to just put a picture of a lady because I had lots of pictures of silhouettes of men. And I was like, Laura, just put a picture of a lady. And she had to go put this picture up. Well, wow. You can't please everybody. Another aspect we're talking about more and more is aging. And I just mentioned that a little bit. But these are the four things that I've seen that seem to influence aging the most. Free radical damage. That's why we had a talk on antioxidants, silent inflammation. We've had Barry Sears on insulin resistance, and we talked about that in weight loss and fat. The older you get, the more resistant you become to insulin. The problem with insulin is that it is not just about glucose metabolism. Insulin is not just to drive glucose into the cells. And that's all most doctors, unfortunately, think about in terms of insulin. If people are insulin resistant, that causes the buildup of fat. It causes, insulin is like a master hormone. So it causes a lot of other things to go wrong in the body if insulin is insulin is allowed to accumulate. Most times we just think about glucose. Oh no, we must keep our glucose levels down, and so we pile insulin there to keep the glucose levels down. Now the problem again with insulin is that once insulin reaches a certain level, it causes a derangement of several body systems. And Dr. Sears again mentioned that people who are diabetic, one of the reasons, especially type 2 diabetics, they have a lot of insulin in their body. It's not like they lack it. They have large amounts of insulin in their bodies. And that insulin is one of the reasons why people who are diabetic are 2 to 4 times more likely to have heart attacks or strokes because of the excessive amounts of insulin causing damage to the nervous system and to the heart. We mentioned the acid-base balance. Increasing that acidity is a problem that happens as we age. Dr. Marvin did an excellent job on longevity and anti-aging. He did a study on cultures around the world that are known for their longevity, and he brought out the key principles that these cultures had that most Western cultures do not. Okay, we've spoken about how our bodies work, and again, we're continually building upon that, but that again is the most important aspect that we want people to know and to appreciate. The next thing is what our bodies need to function. Obviously, the first thing that comes to mind is nutrition, and that is true, but nutrition is also a very large word, and I like this quote by Elson Hass. Well, nutrition is not just about what you put in your mouth. It's all of your sense organs, and we have 5 of them, have their food, which helps to nourish and comfort them. The eyes eat light and color. Ears live on sounds. The nose thrives on smells. The heart absorbs feelings, and the skin sunlight for vitamin D, don't forget. And all of your cells and organs breathe and need good, clean air to live. So much of your health is in your own hands. Learn to nourish yourself. And we had Dr. Hass on our program as well. So when you're thinking about nutrition, please think in a larger perspective. Obviously, the key things with nutrition are the 7 food groups, and we're going to get to that in a minute. We also want to add good food, exercise, social support, new things. Your body, your brain especially, was meant to have challenges, to have variety. The same old, day in, day out can cause problems. Here's another great quote. The human body heals itself, and proper nutrition provides the resources needed to accomplish that task. None other than Roger Williams, the man who discovered vitamin B5, the man who named folic acid. Folic acid is what every pregnant woman by law, well, I don't know, but it's recommended by the Medical Association, I believe, that every pregnant woman should have folic acid to prevent